Hello everybody, how are you? For those of you that don't know and may be catching this live or on replay, we have received / collated that many of you would enjoy joining in a live read along of the Domain Energetics book, which came out 4 weeks ago yesterday, Our World, What Comes Next, which introduces domain energetics. So we have been very present here on this Facebook page over the last month or so to share bite-sized videos and reels, to start sharing some of the wonder that is domain. So for those of you that might not know, domain is a spectacular energy holding located beyond our multiverses, and as we develop and expand our non-physical and energetic sides, we're able to receive from it and use it and draw new energetic sequencing and new energies from it to help us in our everyday living, but also help us in terms of, you know, the broader planet, environmental causes and that type of thing, as well as in our day-to-day. So domain is beautiful. It is significant and massive in terms of what it represents now for human energetic potential moving forwards, because we're at a time in our evolution as humans where we're, you know, awakening, evolving, expanding, advancing our energies so that we can do new and do more than we've ever done before. And so this book is a brilliant place that introduces you to domain energetics, what it can do, and talks about various concepts, aspects and features of it. So we know that many of you already have your copy of this book, and we just want to say thank you so much. It is such a delight to hear from those of you that are reading it, the experiences that you're having from it, because when you read this book, your higher self, I was only receiving this yesterday afternoon. I didn't actually know this until yesterday afternoon. Your higher self is really, really close with you as you're reading it. And so as they're there with you, they're activating domain energetics within you so that you can start using them yourself. So this isn't just an ordinary book. This will trigger domain energetics and start them moving for you, even if it's at a very gentle pace to start with. Hi Suzanne darling, lovely to see you here. So if you're listening live, you will feel the connection to and the truth of what we're saying. You might experience some of the energy flows from domain, but we would still encourage you to get your copy of the book, because it's as you're kind of moving through it yourself, as you're working through the exercises at the back, that it's really going to be triggered more deeply for you. The book is written in such a way that it kind of takes your energy through a bit of a journey and a process that will expand it so you can start using domain. And for those that aren't yet awakened and or evolved, many that read this, that will occur as they're reading the book. Such is the power of domain energetics and this book. But we've also got the School of Domain Energetics, which launches on Friday as well, with our Domain Immersion live experience. Still lots of time to sign up if any of you are keen. We're very excited. And everyone that enters that school will definitely awaken and evolve and start advancing, just as part and parcel of being a part of that school. Hi Chantel darling, lovely to see you. So we are going to start the read along now, so you can really cozy up and get comfy, and yeah, basically enjoy. So I've never done a live read along before. I don't even know whether I did it with my books from ages ago, actually. This feels like a bit of a first, but it's going to be really relaxed, so just enjoy. What we'll do is we'll do this over the next few weeks and months until we've kind of finished the book. We'll read a few chapters each week, or a couple of chapters each week, and we will answer any questions that you have. So feel free to ask questions whilst you're listening, or, you know, even when you're watching the replay, you can ask us questions, and we'll respond to you. And we'll also perhaps talk about a little more detail. Hi Rachel darling, yay! We'll talk a little bit more detail around some of the content that we've written about in the chapters as well. So although the audio version of this and the read along won't have the same kind of activation effect as reading the actual book yourself in your hands, you will still feel some flows from it, and that's a really beautiful thing, because everything that we create with Domain and that we're sharing, as we talked about yesterday in our short little video, the Domain Circle of Love, triggers good. Okay, so it's triggering good in different levels depending on how deeply you want to work with Domain. So let's get started, basically. So, and I've got my glasses on so I can read. Eyesight actually is one thing I will tackle with Domain when it's true for me. There's other things that are truer at the moment, so but I will get there with this as well. But anyway, so this book is dedicated to every person, every animal, every part of nature. No one shall be missed. This book and Domain is for all. So, Preface, written February 2024. Oh, yay, I'm so glad you ordered it, Suzanne, darling. That means so much. Oh, you're going to love it. We hope you're going to love it. Mwah. Okay, so Preface. So, this is the third time that I have sat down and attempted to write this book. They say that the third time is a charm. I have known about Domain and what it can do, bring and offer us and our planet for about 3.5 years now. But in all honesty, when I first learnt about it, I was somewhat mind blown and overwhelmed. Could someone like me really introduce us to the world? This is already making me want to cry tears of love. So what many of you will find when you work with Domain is it can be really beautifully, positively overwhelming with the amount of love it flows you. So really just don't fight that. Let all that love in. Let all that love in from Domain. I had always wanted to receive something new and wonderful to share with others. I had always wanted to have a specialism beyond what I had been taught and what I had learned about through education and vocations. But when Domain came to me, I suddenly felt like it was too big. The second time that I started to write this book was only a few months ago, and on the second attempt, I was trying to be too serious, too heavy even. For what I have come to learn is that the best way to use and work with Domain is to do so in lightness. Yes, it can do incredible things for our everyday lives and planet, but it does not need to be complicated, and you do not need any form of traditional educational merit in order to understand it and work with it. I will read the comments in a moment once I've read this chapter. Please keep them coming. We're loving the comments, but just so I don't keep disrupting the chapter, but keep the comments coming. So today, on a sunny February morning, in my beautiful office, tucked away in the heart of the South Downs in England, I'm sat here finally feeling like I am ready. Whew. I'm past the bigness and the overwhelm. I'm past trying to sound like a scientist or a philosopher. I am ready to simply introduce, talk about and explain Domain in my very own words based entirely upon my own experiences. Domain is an incredible energy holding located beyond our multiverses that I discovered after spending months working on increasing my vibration and practicing my skills around receiving information, knowledge and understanding energetically. When I first discovered Domain, I was still not 100% confident in receiving information in this way, which is basically receiving from non-physical, that which we cannot see with our physical eyes, but is very much there and around us. To be clear, I don't consider myself a medium or a channel, for really and truly every person on earth can receive information in this way, with enough practice and by becoming entirely high vibration. But I do regard myself as someone that has always wanted to make sure that I understand what I am uncovering enough to share it and talk about it with confidence and clarity. I feel a true sense of responsibility with Domain to translate it and bring it to our world correctly and to share what I continue to learn and understand with care. It has taken a considerable amount of focus and dedicated time and practice to receive this type of leading edge insight about Domain energetically in the way that I do now. And so therefore, I want every reader to feel safe and assured in what they read from me in this book. It is real and true, even if it exists beyond the realms of what we can physically see and reach ... at the moment. I didn't just have a sudden epiphany. I have worked on my non-physical receiving abilities for over 5 years now. This is certainly no overnight whim. It is only now today that I feel that I can confidently and truthfully make the claim that I am a domain leading edge insight and energetics expert who coaches domain energetics to bring amazing new possibilities to humans and Earth. And I'm still learning and discovering and uncovering new things about domain almost daily and most certainly weekly, for there will always be more to uncover, understand and unveil, simply because there will always be more that it can do. Today, I consider domain as my life's work, and I take great joy, pleasure and privilege in this. And so now, on attempt 3, I am finally ready to share all that I know at this current time with you. With so much love to you, dear reader and precious, precious human, Sarah. So Chantel's saying, I felt tearful when I started reading it last night. A lot of people are having this really strong reaction to it, and that is just testament to truth. So we just wanting to talk about the context. So what we'll do is after each chapter, we'll talk around it a little bit more to give you a bit more than what the book gives you. The book serves as a wonderful introduction, but we'll talk around it a little bit more as we're being guided to. So when you feel that emotion, where you feel that swell or that tearing up, it's because it's truth. You're connecting to truth and you're feeling that love also from domain. And so we just want to express that because I find domain moving so often. You know, when you guys are reading the book, those of you that are telling me that you're reading it, you're sharing how it's doing things that are wonderful to your energy. Those of you that are, as an example, enrolling in the Pioneering School of Domain Energetics that starts this Friday with the Domain Immersion Live Experience, you're enrolling and you're messaging me saying that you're feeling and experiencing tears of love. It's like domain is this massive circle of love that really is just here to be shared and shone across the world, because domain now assures utopious living. So utopious written in capitals, which means taking our world to a place we've always wanted it to go to and where we've always dreamt it can be. It won't happen overnight because it's a movement. Change doesn't happen like that. Sustainable change also doesn't happen like that, but it is ever upward and perpetually building now. So when you're feeling those emotions, it's truth and it's immense love. And so perhaps God's saying, now you can kind of understand why when I tried to write this the first couple of times, it kind of overwhelmed my energy a little bit, because I was like, no, I can't write about this. It's really big. But through this book, what we've done is we've kept it as high level as possible so that it doesn't overwhelm and it just gets your energy moving with domain, because domain's beautiful. Yes, it can do astronomical things, but it's a delight to work with, and my job is to make it as easy and seamless to work with as possible. And that's what's happening. For those of you that are reading the book, you're like, oh my gosh, this is happening with domain, this is happening with domain, and it's beautiful. It's just activating things within you. So it's really, really beautiful. And this is my eternal commit now to what I will be doing on Earth, is coaching, sharing, teaching, educating about domain energetics, starting here with you precious, precious, precious souls. So, what you are about to read are some of my most revelation-filled experiences with domain to date. They are my own understandings and record keeping. I hope that they too inspire you to start your own journey of exploration with domain. Much love, Sarah. An important point. You should know that I have not had this book proofread nor edited by another. This has been an intentional choice. In today's society, where scrupulous attention to formatting and detail is desired, please know that what is written here are my pure streams of insight flows and knowing, and so it has been important that I do not disturb the energy of my own work with another's. And as what you are about to read is representative of my pure energy, you will also notice that some words are unexpectedly capitalised, or that I may use unusual or even new words outside of the dictionary. Again, this is intentional and deliberate for the purpose of sharing the correct and best knowledge that I can with you. in order for every reader to gain the very maximum that they can from this important book. So sit back, relax, enjoy the read and breeze over the unexpected capitalizations or surprising words that you will become more accustomed to over time. Know that you are about to become very familiar with non-physical energy and energetics as you embark upon your own wondrous introduction to domain and its possibilities throughout the pages that follow. We love you. Morning, Rita. Hi, darling. Mwah. Okay, one final important point. This book serves as an introduction to domain and its energetics that are bringing new solutions and possibilities to Earth. I have kept it as simple and as high level as I can, as it is my intention to help make domain as usable as possible, as quickly as possible. You will likely have more questions that arise from reading Our World What Comes Next, and so please feel free to come and join me at any point throughout this book at sarahmorganglobal.com, where you will find links to my social media feeds and also the pioneering online school of domain energetics. So this is the thing we wanted to say as well. It's been written as an introduction, and as we continue to share about it, as we continue to work with it through the School of Domain Energetics, there will be more and more and more that we discover and uncover and talk about. It's like this endless buffet and feast of knowledge and information and exploration. And what we want to help to do, especially in the first program this Friday that starts, the Domain Immersion Live Experience, is start each of you off on your own wonderful journeys with domain, like your journeys, your discoveries, your explorations of it. And so this is an introduction, but of course there is more to come. And so this is our lifelong commitment, what we're doing. So we'll always be here sharing. And so it's wonderful to have you guys all here at the start. And just to explain as well, this is why some of the words in the book might come as surprising, or some of the words you hear me talk about might come as surprising. Trust that even if you don't consciously understand them, like the word utopias, your energy unconsciously and non-consciously is understanding. Okay, so let's begin the fundamentals. So this is part one, the fundamentals. And if anyone has any questions at any point, please just ask. So we can go further than before. Us physical humans on Earth can now go further than we ever have before. This makes sense when you think about it, doesn't it? As a human race, we have always been evolving, trying to better ourselves and trying to advance. If you look back across history, this has always been the case. Finding and seeking better ways to do things, new inventions and innovations to create new possibilities through which we can improve our lives and live better and happier. But now, right here on our Earth, seems a time where we can go further than we have ever done before. Because now we can start to draw new ideas, possibilities, solutions and answers from beyond our own planet and now from across our multiverses, and also from places on and within our own planet that we cannot physically reach. No longer need we just be reliant on what may meet our physical eye or what we can physically access, feel and touch. This time on Earth is an incredible and pivotal one, as now more and more of us are understanding the truth that we are as much energy and vibration as we are physical form. And that so too we have access to endless energy, including energy that comes from far, far beyond our own planet and right to the very centre of it, macro to micro. And actually, this makes sense too, if you really sit and feel this point. We were never meant to just always be confined to Earth. There is a reason that we have and are a part of a whole multiverse. Nothing is by accident. Everything is by perfect design. The very reason that we are part of something much bigger is so that we can participate in it and access it and help create within it and expand it. But we have been waiting for the right moment. We have been waiting to evolve and advance enough. Up until now, we have been launching rockets into space to explore in a quest to continue to discover and learn new. But here is a question to consider. What if we didn't need to rely on physically moving ourselves from Earth into space? What if instead we could start to learn and receive more information beyond where physical spacecraft and telescopes can reach, energetically through our energy and vibration? And what if we could finally uncover truths and understanding about the places that we cannot physically access on our own planet also, such as the very bottom of our deepest oceans, the very centre of our Earth. Sorry, I just shut my laptop because I could see the internet speed was a bit slow. So, such as the very bottom of our deepest oceans, the very centre of our Earth, seeing, hearing, feeling and understanding these places now vibrationally and energetically. This is truest human advancement, this knowing that we are a perfect blend of physical and non-physical energy, and that when we open up our non-physical energetic parts, there is endless newness out there for us to discover and utilise. How limitless, how freeing, how exciting. And this is what is now occurring. Many humans have been open to this idea, feeling the truth of alternative ways, knowing that there is more out there for us. But what is happening now is that there are physical humans here on Earth who are actually genuinely now living in this way and proving this. But they aren't just winging it, there is a precision assured. There is accuracy guaranteed. How so? Because they are 100% high vibration and have energetically trained to excel their energy so that they can learn and advance in this new way and work with an immense energy holding called domain. From the 1st of September 2023 until the 31st of September 2024, the first group of humans, who are known as the domain leaders, along with myself, have avidly, excitedly and focusedly been working with domain, exploring its new horizons and possibilities and actually using it. Via domain, we have been bringing new solutions and ideas to better our own day-to-day living and also our Earth from anywhere that it is needed. Sourced from the deepest and hardest to reach parts of our planet right out to the farthest parts of our multiverses. Just as one example, we are uncovering healing properties from other planets and even stars, and we are drawing the energetic sequencing from these places to help us and to create new possibilities and solutions here on Earth. We are showcasing that we don't need to physically reach these places in order to get these properties and bring them back, but rather that via domain we can reach them non-physically and energetically through vibrational capability with domain. We can recreate them energetically here on our planet where needed. Wow. And this dedicated year of discovery and exploration that has been undertaken by us has led to much physical change and evidence that has provided the very best footing from which we can now introduce domain to wider audiences, including everyone that reads this important book. Domain is beautiful. It is for every single human on our planet, and ultimately over time, all humans will use domain in their day-to-day. Imagine that. Imagine every human being able to find new answers, solutions and possibilities to help us all to live better and happier. And most importantly, new answers, solutions and possibilities that are harmonious for all. Never taking from one place and leaving another lacking. Never adding to one place and offsetting the balance. Always harmonious answers, solutions and possibilities that are best for all and always loving. Domain is finally now beginning to be energised and used to start to solve things that have long been important to us, such as the bettering of our bodies, living longer, the curing of diseases and ailments, the bettering of the nutrition that we can gain, the balancing of wealth and our climate, the regeneration of endangered animals and plant species, the reversing of the rapid effects of global warming, pollution and the destruction of rainforests. These are just a few examples. Because of domain, new possibilities and new answers now exist everywhere for us all. This is what domain represents. We can use domain in our daily lives, we can use it to help our friends, families, communities, surroundings, and our planet overall. So when we ask the question, our world, what comes next? Domain is the answer. And so in this book, we will be introducing this pivotal and quite simply incredible and magnificent energy holding to you. We will be revealing some incredible new insight, sharing some of Earth's hidden magic and secrets, and we will be introducing you to how you can start to work with and use Domain in your own day-to-day life too. The Domain is here to now finally be understood, used, loved, and explored. These are big new horizons that are open to us humans on Earth. This is one of the most very beautiful times to live. And so, let's start. So what I will also do is, throughout the book, there's sort of quotes and statements that we've collated that, again, are going to trigger energetics. So, okay, when you hold up your book, we can see it too. Oh, thank you. Yeah, I'm kind of learning how to read and look at you and not just read the pages and kind of show you the book at the same time. So, they'll get better as we do them week on week. But thank you, darling. It's nice for you to be able to see them, especially as a lot of care and energy went into the outside and inside of the book. So, with Domain, we can achieve the extraordinary. So I'm just going to have a sip of my orange squash before I read the chapter delving into Domain. And then we'll probably, looking at time, we might leave it there. We might go on to Myriad. We might do Myriad next week. It depends on what questions come through. So just bear with me while I have a sip. Thank you so much for being here, whether you're live on replay as well. It just means so much to just have your energy learning about Domain. So thank you. Okay, so delving into Domain. So if you are excited about what you have just read, or in this case with us just heard, if you are curious to know more, I know that there are many questions you will have. Firstly, I did not give this energy holding its name. Domain is its true name and always has been. And now I want to really help you to deepen your understanding of it. I will explain it as simply as I can. For as vast and sophisticated as Domain is for the physical human, that is you and I and all humans having a life experience on Earth at this time, it is actually very easy to use and work with the more that you advance and develop your own energetic side. Hello, my precious sister Belinda's here. Hello, my darling. Thank you for tuning in from Australia. Okay, so, perfect, cool. Okay, keep the comments coming and I'll reply to them between each chapters if you want to. Okay, so, and this is always an important point to remember because Domain is here to be used by everyone who is wanting and willing. And so even as I introduce you to some incredible new understanding and knowledge from my own personal experiences, I'm just gonna, this is going well, the phone just rang, so if you can still hear me, please comment. And so even as I introduce to you some incredible new understanding and knowledge from my own personal experiences, I will always explain it as simply as I can, so that by the end of this book, you are excited to get cracking and to start actually using Domain yourself. Domain is already known to you because every human on Earth at this time has a knowing of Domain energetically, even if not yet consciously. And so this is one big intention of this book, to bring Domain into everyone's conscious awareness. And so from this moment forward, relax and see Domain as an ever-loving presence and aid that is available to you. And if you choose it, available to you if you choose it, and one that your energy already knows and always has, even if your mind and conscious thought is new to it in this physical lifetime of yours. Thank you, Chantel. Phew. So allow yourself to feel safe, comfortable and familiar with it as you start to open up your non-physical, energetic and vibrational side as you continue to read this book. Actually, Domain prefers this book to be referred to as a manuscript, as it is so vital, so pivotal. If you can, feel and or acknowledge this energy right here and now, wherever you are. Feel and acknowledge on this very page and throughout this whole book the wondrous energy of this domain manuscript. And don't just think what the dictionary definition of manuscript means. Rather, see if you can let and allow the whole of your being to feel or see or know the huge and vast energy and intention of this word. A great place to let yourself begin to explore how energy is translated by and depicted to you personally. If this concept of non-physical energy is new to you, and if it is new to you, you can rest assured that soon it will become entirely natural to you. So, where is domain located? This is a great question, and previously I would have answered beyond our multiverses, and this answer still remains true. It is located beyond our multiverses, but now there are energetic elements and aspects of it that are invisible to the naked eye, located on Earth and intrinsically bound to it to help heighten our potential and what we can do with it as we are now starting to use it. Remember that domain is a non-physical energy holding, which means it is energetic in energy, and as such, this energy has capability to move and adapt. And don't think of this in a creepy UFO type of way. This type of energy evolution is a natural part of Earth's, and so too our own ongoing evolution. In fact, there are many non-physical energies that are available to us and that we are yet to uncover, some of which I will explain to you later in this book, and some of which you might discover yourself as you go on to work with domain in the future. And so, similarly, as you know that there is air in our atmosphere, you can also be aware that there are aspects of domain now within our atmosphere too. If you think about your immediate surroundings right now, wherever you are, there are physical elements that you can see and touch. And in between and around them is air that you cannot see, but yet you know is there. If you think of the sun, we know its energy is real. We see evidence of how it powers solar panels. We feel its warmth on our skin. And with the wind, we see evidence of its energy turning wind turbines and moving and blowing the leaves on trees. In both these examples, we know that these energies are there even though we can't physically see them, and we use them to help us. And just like how cells were not detectable to the human eye until we had the correct machinery and equipment to see them, this non-physical energy is also not yet detectable unless you are tuned to it in an energetic and vibrational way, but it is most certainly there. Just like we can utilise the energy of the wind and sun, so too now we are able to take domain's eclectic mix of energy to aid us. As humans, as we evolve and progress and advance, our energetic sides start to fully open up, activate and come into our awareness. Then with this, we have the true understanding that energy is everywhere, that in fact it underpins everything, and then we can choose to use it. There is much more energy out there than just that of the sun and the wind. There is endless new energy out there for us to explore, discover and use. And domain is one very, very important energy powerhouse for our times, just waiting to be used on Earth by all of us. So when I say that domain is an energy holding beyond our multiverses, it is real, very much there, like the stars or galaxies beyond where we can physically see are very much there. But now with human advancement and progression, it is true and viable for us now to finally access it and to use it energetically. And we can use it both from beyond our multiverses and from where there are elements of it directly connected to Earth. I will talk a lot about energy in this book, as opening ourselves up to this fully is what will take us forward at a vast and exhilarating pace as a human race and planet. Also, to be clear, domain is for us humans to use from Earth. So this is not a case of us leaving our planet. Domain is very much for use by the physical human whose feet are firmly placed on the ground here. I will explain this a bit more in a moment with an example. How does domain work? Domain has been around for trillions of years, since the start of all creation, and as such, its main function is to store all data of what has been created anywhere and everywhere in our multiverses. So, I always like to say, think of domain as a giant database of all creation. But going a step deeper, specifically, the way Domain stores this data is in the form of energy sequences. Every single thing around us, physical and non-physical, is made up of energy sequences. Nothing would be or exist without the underlying foundation of energy sequences. If you are slightly wincing at the term energy sequences, don't worry. Your job is not to understand them all. You don't need to have a hyper formulaic or indeed scientific or mathematical mind. I certainly do not. I will keep this light and easy. For Domain isn't just for the considered intelligent or clever, it is for everyone, and I will, throughout this book, keep this uncomplicated for you. And as someone who naturally shies away from complex myself, I utterly love Domain for its ease of use and yet incredible output. I find it riveting, awe-inspiring, wondrous and exciting. So from now on, think of Domain as an exciting voyage of discovery that is fun, amazing, joyful and very, very usable. And so, back to energy sequences. Know that no two are the same, like no two fingerprints and no two snowflakes are the same. Because even, for example, when twins are created, they are two different humans, and so two sets of trillions of energy sequences are needed, even if the only difference between them is that one is twin A and one is twin B. Hi Beth, darling, lovely to see you. Mwah. Okay, so, and plus there will be energy sequences created in every single micro moment of their creation, development and life, both physically and after their physical life when they transition to eternal non-physical souls. Alternatively, think about two ice lollies. One will be ice lolly A and one will be ice lolly B. And so therefore, two sets of energy sequences are required to form both of them as two separate ice lollies. Only one set of energy sequences would create one ice lolly, you see. The energy sequences of ice lolly A will have uniqueness against ice lolly B, despite looking the same. It has to be this way for them both to be. And this is why no two energy sequencing sets are the same, and it is the unique sequencing that differentiates any one thing from another. And as new sequences are created always and continuously across all that is, consider each new flower that blossoms as one example, Domain gathers and stores every single one. So its size is ever perpetual and growing, keeping up with the pace as we, our Earth and our multiverses are continually in a momentum of growth and expansion. It really is quite spectacular and wondrous, and I totally appreciate that this may take some time to settle with. In brackets I've written here, if you didn't read this book's preface, now might be the moment to, as it is there that I explained how it took me myself some time to wrap my head and arms around the sheer magnitude of Domain and what it does. Nothing would exist or be without underlying energy sequencing. But once this does start to settle within you, you can then start to use Domain. You can use it to draw from, to get new possibilities, answers and solutions from. New sequences from that you can replicate to use to create new with on Earth. And I will teach you how. You don't need to write all the formulas for the energy sequences down and understand them. Some have trillions of aspects. Rather, Domain will just energetically pass them to you, and your own energy will start to learn to naturally create with them. How energetically smart. Domain has an answer to everything and can be used to help with anything via all of the energy sequences that it has stored. One simple example, and a personal one to me, is that a few months prior to writing this chapter, I heavily kicked my shin against a sharp corner of my bed 2 days before I had to go to a wedding, and I did not want a glaring bruise on my leg as I was wearing a dress where it would be seen. I had no immediate physical aid, such as arnica cream, widely known to many for its healing and bruise reducing qualities. And so instead of rushing out to the shops, and actually I don't think I could because this happened late at night, in this moment I connected to Domain with tons of conviction and strong intention to prevent this bruise from developing, and I asked what it could show me to remove the bruising. As I let myself energetically receive the answer, which came in the flow of understanding that I could translate and see in my mind's eye, I was shown an algae type of formation on another planet, in another universe, within our own multiverse, and I was able to energetically and non-physically gather this sequencing from domain and then recreate it around my bruise on my leg and keep it in place there for 24 hours. I didn't need a pen and paper. My own energy just naturally took what it needed from domain and instinctively knew how to take the sequencing and recreate that algae's properties non-physically and energetically on my shin to heal it. Remember that energy is a real thing and that it works. Just like the sun's non-visible energy can make us warm, the algae's non-visible energy could prevent my bruising. The results were truly staggering. Normally, I would get an immediate dark purple bruise as I had kicked my shin against that bed many times before. I don't know why I still do it. That would last for days, but 24 hours later, it was barely visible. This was the first time that I really used domain with this much conviction, and the results were astonishing and utterly evident. But domain can be used for anything, not just the human body, and I will continue to talk about this and share more examples as this book continues. And so, domain stores all energy sequencing, and it can share any that is helpful for us when we ask for anything. And this sequencing will be sourced by domain from beyond where we can physically go, reach, access and touch. And it works both with multiversal scope and also Earth scope. Consider being able to reach places, answers and remedies beyond where we can physically go on our own planet too, not just multiversally, such as deep into our planet's formation and right under the sea or high up into the atmosphere. In fact, there is an endless bounty of sequencing just in and around our Earth that we have not been able to access until now via domain. Wow, very cool and amazing, right? But there is also more to how domain works. Not only does it flow sequencing to us when we ask, it has a consciousness too. So just like one might receive from a non-physical guide or entity as their vibration heightens and they fully open up to the endless world of non-physical energy, they can too receive from domain in a similar way. They can receive insight that they simply could not access without it. It may even feel like domain is talking to you and communicating with you to help and guide you. As humans work with domain more and more now moving forwards, they will feel that assured, steady, loving and safe presence of domain's consciousness steering them and helping them, and so removing guesswork and assuring great clarity and precision, avoiding all energetic wasteland and drifting off in directions and perhaps going down rabbit holes of research that might very well turn out fruitless. And for those that are really advanced and evolved energetically, and there are many that are and many more that will continue to be, domain can be leveraged. This means that us humans can wield it energetically to supersize great output, success and advancement in creation. So when asking how domain works, think of these 3 points. 1, sequencing sharing. 2, insight flows and guidance. 3, wielding and leveraging. As you continue to read this book, these 3 modalities will begin to make more and more sense to you. How old is domain? Given that it goes right back to the start of creation, we're talking trillions and trillions of years, and in this understanding you can again, if you wish, just feel the vastness, intrinsicness and therefore reliability and safety of this ever-present and loving energy holding, and just how it can settle and soothe so many and so much. Why is domain an energy holding? Rather than just a loose and unbound flowing energy, domain is an energy holding, like a plethora of energy and a focused gathering of energy. An energy holding is able to do and enable many different things. It has shape, size and depth, and therefore great substance. It is very much multidimensional rather than one-dimensional. It is ever growing and expanding, as we have said. What does it look like? Now, this is a great question. Because of its sheer and physically impossible to measure size, depth and breadth, endless different elements and aspects of it may be seen in your mind's eye when you energetically connect to it, as opposed to seeing domain in its entirety. I'll help you to connect to domain later in this book so that you can experience it yourself. When this time comes, and we suggest that you read all of this book first before you skip ahead to the workbook section, you might see symbols and colours, you might see white and deepest black, you might see a multitude of different visual representations. This can be a delight for you to explore should you choose to work with domain yourself and interact with it. It is sheer vastness, and so the possibilities in how you and your own energy will receive, see and translate it are endless. For me personally, I often sense a midnight blue colour. The centre of it can feel full of dark colours like dark greens, blacks and reds, but I have also seen in other parts of it coloured numbers and symbols, orange, pink, yellow and green and so on. Some of which move like you might imagine text moving as it is being written onto a page as you type on a laptop. How domain will represent itself to you will likely be unique and different many times over. How do we know it is definitely there? This is the moment in which I say that it is time to let yourself move beyond only physical naked eye proof in this moment and to open yourself up to proof that is energetically felt, energetically known and energetically seen in your mind's eye, as well as the very physical and actual results that will transpire from you using domain. As you work with domain more and more will be energetically felt, energetically known and energetically seen by you, plus more and more physical and real results will be evidenced and witnessed. So many say that seeing is believing, but belief will help the evidence transpire and then be seen. Domain, if you choose it, is yours to use, explore and know more and more about and to take further and further for life. Domain for me is my life's work, and you can work with it for the rest of your life also. It's all of ours for the taking. And so, I know you will have more questions, for there is always more to uncover and learn about domain, and so more will be unearthed as this book progresses. But now is also a good first moment to also say that you can continue to follow and join myself and the ever-growing Domain Energetics community as we always continue to uncover more and more at sarahmorganglobal.com. And for now, this is everything that you need to know about domain at this moment, and this is the perfect foundation from which to build upon as we now move on to the incredible energy network called Myriad. And then here, domain brings accelerated freedom for all. Whoa, that was a lot of energy, and I can see some questions are coming in. So I'm just going to just see the comments and questions that have come in, and then I will take guidance as whether to read Myriad this week or read Myriad next week, based on sort of how everyone's energy is doing. So Suzanne was saying, as you're reading this, I'm seeing a wonderful green planet with lots of laughter, good energy and abundance of love. Whoops. Yes, so this is the thing. It's going to start opening things up for you. And for you, because you've bought the books, and Suzanne, got a lot of energy flowing. It might not be with you yet, but because you've kind of made that kind of interaction of purchasing the book, the energetics are already starting to flow. Plus, you have been very closely watching what we've been doing over the last month. So there's been lots of kind of good that's been triggered within you. So enjoy it. And this is the thing. Domain will only ever show you what's true for you, what feels comfortable and good to you. I myself, along with the other domain leaders over the 12 months, have literally voyaged so wide with it energetically across the multiverses. And it's always felt utterly comfortable, right and good, because domain will always go at the pace that's good for you. And so some of you will be like, I am ready to start exploring more multiversally, and Myriad is the system that supports domain to help you do that, which is the next chapter, which we'll either read today or next week. But some of you might like, actually, I just kind of want to use it just to kind of see maybe what is available on Earth. But it will always go at your pace. It will never overwhelm. It's so loving. It always works in accordance with what your truths and wants are. And so for everyone, you just move with it at the pace that you love. Some of you want to fly with it. Some of you want to take a bit more time with it. Like, domain is so loving. it will always respond to what you are wanting. Even if you want to step back for a little bit, like it's not going to be, I think sometimes people think of non-physical energies as energies that come like knocking at your door and, I don't know, kind of pestering and that kind of thing. I think most of you here wouldn't think that, because obviously you are all who you are, and many of you have been doing a lot of energetic work with myself or others that have been working alongside me, and you know that actually when you're really true vibration, you know, these non-physical energies come to you to help you when it's your truth. And sometimes Domain comes to me and I can feel it's wanting to have a chat with me, and I'm like, not right now, I'm just doing these physical human things or these other things, and I'll just go back to it when it feels good to me. But it's never invasive, and that's really, really, really beautiful to understand as well. Love you too, Belinda, darling. Beth, I love a read through. Okay, so Belinda, my precious sister in Australia, can this be used on others without their permission, specifically when used for healing physical conditions? So really good question, and we do address this at some point in the book as well. It can be used for others, but we do always need their permission. But you can get it from someone else's higher self. So say someone is in a condition and they can't give you their permission, you can check in with their higher self and you'll feel whether you get permission or not. I shared in a recent episode of Domain TV that I had used Domain for someone else for their heart. They had said before that I could do healing on them if and when I kind of was nudged to, but that had been like ages ago, and I suddenly felt the moment was right, because you have to do it when it feels good to you as well. This is why we want everyone to be able to use Domain themselves, and why we have the book, why we have the School of Domain Energetics, because what you'll start to find is as you start to use Domain Energetics yourself, you will get people potentially coming up to you saying, can you help with this? Can you help with that? And if you want to do that, that's brilliant. But also there's a real power in people using Domain themselves. So everyone's self-sufficient in their own energy and not reliant on others. So that's kind of like the ultimate goal over time. But of course, you can still help other people who may not want to proactively do it themselves. So the person I was working with around their heart, they don't have the impetus or inclination to proactively work with Domain themselves, but they were really happy for me to flow energetics. And so I did, and amazing results, as we talked about in the Domain TV episodes. But you do need their permission. So you can either ask for it consciously, and then you just get that kind of verbal yes, so you kind of feel good to go. Or like we say, if they are unable to confirm consciously, you can check in with their higher selves. The other thing Domain is saying, just so everyone feels really safe with this, is it will not work and flow energy and sequencing to someone who is not wanting it. It just won't, because it's loving. It always works with people's truths. So your truth as someone that's using it for yourself or someone else, but also the truth of someone else that you might be using it for, it will only work in accordance with people's truths. Domain is so much about accelerated freedom for all, harmonious solutions for all. It is only ever loving. So for anyone that might be kind of listening to this and might be in your earlier stages of working energetically and non-physically, who might be like, but how would I be sure whether someone's higher self said yes or no? And we talk about the higher self in this book as well, for anyone that's interested a bit further down the line. But in case anyone's a bit unsure, because I remember in my early days of practicing receiving, I was like, I can't really tell whether that was a yes or a no. Domain will always work in accordance with what's best for all and everyone's truth. So it will never flow energetics and sequencing to someone if it's not actually their truth. So you can feel really safe in that. But also God's just asking me to say, you can also feel really safe that as you start to read the book, as you maybe participate in School of Domain Energetics programs, you'll become so confident in your receiving. Especially like when you're participating in the School of Domain Energetics, you cannot mistranslate. And then any kind of development that you do during any work with us, you can't slip back from after working with us as well. So it just kind of keeps bringing you more and more. But the book will also help to boost your vibration and that kind of thing to help you as well, to receive more clearly. But you'll start to, over time, really clearly know when something's a yes and a no, and it's something I've always been passionate about, helping people to receive clearly, because some people feel, some people see, some people know, some people hear. Everyone's very different. There's no one way that's better than another. It's just learning the way that your energy works with and receives from non-physical energy. So, great question. Thank you for answering. And I am actually being guided to now read the Myriad chapter, and then we are going to stop, if that's okay. And we'll come back next week. Normally, we'll keep these read-alongs to about an hour. We won't be fixated on time restraints and limits, but just so you kind of have a rough idea. But of course, if there's lots of questions coming in, we will always answer them for you. So, on to Myriad. So, wow, what a subject, what an energy network to introduce to you. This is revolutionary for humans to understand and will answer and bring together so much clarity for those in fields such as quantum physics and those talking about the law of reaction. Myriad is vast. Think of Myriad like an energetic network, for that is what it is, that reaches everywhere and everything, and so therefore can connect and link every place and everything. But rather than a net made up of flat, square and grid-type formation, it is made up of energetic prisms, which look like the below. So that is what, excuse my nails, an energetic prism, sorry, a Myriad prism looks like. So it's three-sided, okay? These prisms interconnect and build great depth, and there can be prisms within prisms within prisms. Think macro to micro here with Myriad. So macro myriads right down to micro myriads that are smaller than the smallest human cell. The Myriad system reaches everywhere in our multiverses, and so if you think about its vastness, its intricacies right through to its overarching oneness, Myriad really is a breakthrough for humans to A, know about, and then to B, use. To use Myriad with Domain is part and parcel of Domain's use on Earth. So for every human that now starts to use Domain to better their lives and living, and to bring new and harmonious possibilities to Earth, they'll be using Myriad too as a natural consequence. There is so much that Myriad can do, and truly I am only scratching the surface here in this book, for there are literally thousands and thousands of books that can be written about the subject of Myriad just on its own. But nevertheless, what I am uncovering and going to share with you is utterly amazing. You can energetically draw from endless places and times with Myriad. This is so cool, okay? Firstly, for those that work with Domain, Myriad is immense at helping us humans to energetically draw from anywhere via the Myriad system. One example, and a great one, is if you're asking Domain to bring energy sequencing through to help with, for example, better abundance and distribution of wealth, Myriad can draw sequencing from any point in time that has already occurred throughout history, both on Earth and off Earth, think multiversally, as well as anywhere at this present time right now. So when I myself asked about this very subject of more abundance a few months ago, Myriad energetically simulated for me Egypt and its abundant ancient civilization. As it did this, I energetically felt like I was there as Myriad was drawing from this time. This did not feel like I had physically moved, but rather that Myriad was sharing with me in my mind's eye, and as it did so, I could almost feel, taste, touch, hear and experience what I was being shown. It was like magic, and in all truth it is magic. For Domain and Myriad both work with the immense energies of magic in lowercase and magic uppercase. These are true energies that naturally get leveraged when we humans interact with Domain. So Myriad can simulate and recreate experiences for us to help us when working with Domain. Likewise, Myriad has drawn from and shown me other planets in our multiverses, like my Bru Shin example in the previous chapter, both past and present, when I have asked it to help me with other things too. This might sound complicated, but in fact it is so easy. We simply ask Domain for a solution to help with something, and as we receive energetically back from it, Myriad helps. Imagine the endless possibilities. Another example is that Myriad has shown me water on another planet that seeks light. And so imagine if enough of us could apply that energy sequencing to water under Africa to help and encourage it to naturally come to the surface. This would save endless life and suffering. And this is why this book and raising awareness of Domain is so vital. It's essential that more and more humans know of Domain and its potential and start to actually use it. This example of possibility and transformation with water is what will occur and become absolutely possible with Domain over time. As we work with it and energise with it more and as more and more of us collectively do so, these feats will absolutely be achieved. It is only a matter of time. This is why I'm dedicated to Domain and viewing it as my life's work, and why I want to educate and show what is possible with Domain as much as I can, whilst I have the privilege of being alive here physically on our planet. Just imagine a whole endless stream of possibilities for us to discover and uncover via Myriad and Domain. The other awesome benefit of drawing information from Myriad in this way is that it also means that if, say, you wanted to help flow sequencing to somewhere like South America, you don't need to physically get on a plane and go there, or be on the ground there. Instead, Myriad will bring and show you what you need to see and understand, and then you can flow the sequencing energetically to wherever it is needed via the Myriad energetic network. So consider this as the true definition of remote working. You can be in your home but access anywhere or any place via Myriad as it draws to you, macro to micro, past, present, and even future further down the line too. This may sound extraordinary, but as someone that wants to make Domain very usable for every person, know that this is easy. Domain and Myriad do the legwork and they show you what you need to see. This is immense energetic smartness, efficiency, and intelligence occurring here. Myriad will draw from and show you the source energetically, and Domain will gather the sequencing from that source that you can then use. So as we have said, this means that we no longer need to rely on just where we can physically reach and go. Myriad can now energetically show us and draw from anywhere, from the very core of our Earth, the centre of the sun, anywhere in our multiverse and multiverses, to the very micro centre of a plant stamen. Myriad literally opens up and grants energetic access to anywhere and everywhere for us. Myriad is immense. But how it works is that we don't choose. That would be the hard way. Instead, we let Myriad and Domain select and show us. We ask a question, like asking Google, but way vaster, and then the results come back, i.e. sequencing, visuals, and energetic simulations to help and aid us. Joy can be experienced through what Myriad can show us. There are no limits now. This takes some practice, but over time, as we educate more and more people on Domain, more and more of us will be able to do this with Myriad with ease and excitement. Myriad creates. What is fascinating to unearth is that Myriad was used intrinsically by the Egyptians with their pyramid builds. So many humans and historians have asked, wondered, and strived for clarity around how these magnificent structures were built, and Myriad was fundamental. The colonies in Egypt took Myriad to its furthest potential among physical humans, until now, that is. Myriad has shown me that other poignant and impressive ancient civilizations have used Myriad also, such as Machu Picchu in Peru, Sigiriya Rock in India, Easter Island, even Stonehenge in the United Kingdom and others, but the Egyptians took its use the furthest. They used and wielded Myriad, but without Domain, simply because it was not accessible at that time. But nevertheless, what they created and developed with Myriad alone holds presence and retains its legacy on Earth today. They understood that in using Myriad energy, they could move and create beyond their purely physical means. They were able to lift and place huge stone mass aided by Myriad energetic enhancements. They were able to design with symmetry and precision, aided by Myriad insight flows. And although what they created was magical and magnificent and most still stands today, this was still Myriad basics versus what Domain and Myriad together will be able to do for us humans on Earth in the future throughout the years and centuries to come. But why did Myriad's use peak with the Egyptians and then cease over time? Because we physical humans lost sight of who we really are. We became clouded with low vibration. We forgot that we are as much energy as we are physical. But now we're starting to remember again, and we're starting to understand once again that the blending of our non-physical and energetic makeup is where our immense creating power is at. There are also traces of Myriad and magic use more recently in Italy through Shakespeare and Verona, but these were at a time that Myriad was almost fading out. When you think of Myriad, think magic, think legacy, think achieving the just physically unachievable. Think now of the miraculous potential for mankind, for this is what now exists. Awesome. Myriad builds. And by this, I mean builds energetic and physical momentum. As you work with Myriad more and more, you will find, see and witness an undeniable momentum in your physical life. A momentum forward, a momentum of love, a momentum of understanding that has simply not been acquired by you before. Myriad opens up all horizons. It places new energy sequencing to where we want to create new. Myriad and Domain together build a new focus for life. For those that have always felt and known somewhere deep down within them that there is more out there, more to us, our planet, our universe, our multiverse and multiverses, and all that is, and all that makes up life and living itself, Myriad, along with Domain, now brings this to you. No longer hemmed in, no longer inhibited. Think no longer of limited resources. Think no longer of harmful resources. Think now of utter uninhibited and unrestricted freedom across our Earth, life, and the Myriad system more and more and more over time. Myriad builds. Myriad gathers. Myriad can gather energy and energy sequencing anywhere along the micro to macro scale. Remembering that there are myriads within myriads, you can gather any energy in any myriad configuration. So as examples, you can gather energy around your body myriad, your home myriad, your little finger myriad, your garden myriad, your country myriad, the earth myriad, an insect myriad, an insect's entire population myriad, a star myriad and galaxy myriad. The list goes on, and there is literally no end, as all that is ever expanding and growing and igniting new. Myriad gathers. Myriad targets. And in this gathering, so too, you can target sequencing to where it is needed and wanted. Think of my previous bruising example. I took the sequencing from another planet via Domain. Myriad had shown me what and where the source of that sequencing was, and then I targeted that sequencing to the relevant Myriad target, which in this instance was around my shin. There was no wastage, no place that the sequencing was created, gathered and targeted where it was not wanted or needed. And because Myriad and Domain work with ease, they know and direct the relevant Myriad targets, always based on what is wanted by you and is true for you. Always based on what is the best way and totally and unequivocally harmonious for you. And where Myriad targets some place or community, such as the Amazon rainforest or a town of people, its sequencing is always based on what is true, loving and harmonious for all, whether that be a group of people, animals, nature objects or any mixture. This now brings us to why you will never be able to get it wrong with Domain and Myriad, and why you won't ever bring sequencing to one Myriad target at risk of negative impact on another Myriad target. Because Domain always works with perfectly harmonious possibilities and solutions. It simply cannot be any other way. So in its entirety, think of Domain as a giant computer full of endless new sequencing possibilities which we can use and create new with on Earth. And think of Myriad like the airways, the vast and all-reaching distribution system. Myriad harbours. Once Myriad has gathered and targeted, it can also harbour. Simply put, this means it will keep circulating and sharing that sequencing at the target. As an example, take an area of vegetation that you want to help flourish and grow better. If Domain brings you sequencing in relation to oxygen boosting and amplifying, your Myriad target will harbour this sequencing, meaning that it will keep that sequencing in place to keep that increased oxygen there and circulating continuously, either indefinitely or for as long as is needed. And remember, Domain would only supply this increased oxygen sequencing if it was harmonious for all. This is the basis and always the parameters under which it works. The vegetation patch example also demonstrates smart energy use. You don't have to keep pumping in the sequencing, for when Myriad harbours, it holds it there and keeps it going, present and circulating for you. Again, think of future possibilities such as helping crops to naturally grow and dilapidated forests to regrow. To know that Myriad again now at this time in our human journey, to know about Myriad again now at this time in our human journey, as well as to use it again, is what will propel us forward as a human race. And then everything we need, is available to us. So we're going to close it there. Next week, when we come back next Wednesday, just so you know, we'll talk about more on sequencing, our Earth is beautiful, acceler energy, God, and potentially, if we have time, Nelson Mandela and others. Because as we go through the book, the chapters start to become a little bit shorter and lighter. It's really important in the first part of the book that we're explaining the fundamentals of Domain and Myriad, because they're critical. But as we continue to progress, we'll start looking at unearthing Earth's secrets, like Africa, ancient Egypt, looking at Uganda, Myriad hotspots, trees, woodlands and forests, our oceans, and Martha, the collective consciousness. Then there's a section for Domain in your day-to-day. Then there's a section of Further Spectacular. Then there's a section called Believe in Magic. Then there's a section called Start to Do. And then there's the Domain Beginner's Workbook. So there's lots of wonderful content that we'll keep reading through over the coming weeks with these live read-alongs. So thank you so much for all being here. It's really beautiful to be able to share what we've written with you, and to have you listen and join in. It just means so much. And you know, God is just asking me again to say, if any of you just kind of want to get up off the ground running, the Domain Immersion Live Experience starts this Friday. There's still 2 whole days, maybe even until the end of Friday, to sign up. Don't hold back. Don't kind of put restraints on yourself thinking, oh, I have to read the book first. I have to be X% high vibration. I have to be, you know, awakened or whatever. Domain is for all. And that's what that program's for. It is only ever going to run once. It is for those really early users of Domain before we take it even more widely. And it will set you up for life. You'll each kind of get your own energetic setup with Domain that's beautiful and unique to you. We're going to have a whole heap of fun along the way. We've just got the most wonderful energies coming together for it. It's going to be a true flipping privilege to run it and to have that time together throughout November. It's not mega intensive. Domain is always about live first as a physical human, use Domain second. Like, Domain's there to be used, but we're physical first. So it's not intensive. It's like 4 days a week of like some focuses for you, but the energetics behind the program are really going to propel you and shave years off of your own journey and development with Domain, and just literally set you up for life with it. So use it. It is a one-off program, a one-time. Future things that we'll be doing through the School of Domain Energetics will be lighter workshops, which will be wonderful still, but none are going to be like this Domain Immersion Live Experience, this very first program in the School of Domain Energetics. And there's a reason why you're hearing about it now, and others might come to find us further down the line and won't have heard about this, in which case, if you're watching this further down the line, it's just that it wasn't right time for you. But for those of you watching this now, it is right time for you. That's why you're watching this. So please, if you have any questions, reach out. If you're sitting on the fence a bit, reach out. Don't kind of deliberate in silence. Reach out to us, chat to us. We can give you a bit more insight for you that might help you. This is a one-off, which is why we want to kind of gather and nurture all the right energies for this program, because it's never going to run again, and it is a world first, a world one time only for those of you that are watching this now. So just know it's there. You can sign up, I'm being told, till the end of Friday. Even if you decide on Friday, okay, I'm in. Like, just do it, okay? We're there. We're going to welcome you with huge loving arms. It's going to be a month of exploration, discovery, joy and fun, incredible energies coming together. It's going to be flipping beautiful, a once in a lifetime opportunity. So don't hold back. We love you so flipping much. Thank you for being here. It's such a privilege, as we say, like, just feel that Domain circle of love, and hopefully you're really feeling it through everything that we're doing here, because this is our life's work now. And thank you for being a part of it and present in these really early phases. Creating energetic history and legacy is what we're all doing together here, and this could not be done without you. So thank you for being here. We love you. We'll see you again, same time, same place, next week, next Wednesday, for Read Along Part 2. We'll see you on Friday for Domain TV Episode 4. And on Friday, for those of you that are joining the Domain Immersion Live Experience. We're rocking, we're rolling, it's flipping awesome. Lifting the roof off of living and human potential is flipping epic. So we love you so much. Reach out at any point. We're here for you. We treasure each and every one of you. Yeah, just that's it for now. We love you, love you, love you. See you again super soon. Mwah.